I spent 2 years in Switzerland recovering from an illness. On my first day back in New York, my cousin Chloe threw a welcome home party for me in the Hamptons. The guests were all the heirs and heiresses of the city's elite. Long time no see. The girls who used to hang on my every word were unusually quiet today, sitting in silence. Even my younger half-brother, Vincent Vance, the heir to the Vance Empire who used to follow me around calling me sister, treated me with a distant coldness. At my own party, I, the guest of honor, was being given the cold shoulder. A commotion erupted at the entrance. Gabriel Sterling walked in, holding a woman's hand. The quiet banquet suddenly sizzled like water dropped into hot oil. My brother was the first to jump up and welcome them. "Gabe, Felicity, you guys finally made it." The heiresses who were stiff and silent a moment ago suddenly came alive. "Felicity, come sit here. We saved a seat just for you." The young woman surrounded by the crowd smiled brightly, her posture graceful and light. Gabriel, standing beside her, looked at her with such tender eyes. They looked like the perfect couple. If Gabriel wasn't my fiancé, I might even ship them. My cousin Chloe, ever the gossip, leaned in and whispered, adding fuel to the fire. "Cousin, see that? That woman was the stand-in they found. But she stood in for so long, she started thinking she was the main character. If you came back any later, she'd probably be pregnant. Chloe and I grew up together. My aunt was lazy and often dumped her at our estate to be raised alongside me. My mother couldn't say no to her sister, and fortunately, our family had the money to raise another child without blinking an eye. 2 months ago, Chloe sent me a photo. In the photo, Gabriel was intimately holding a young woman who looked about 50% like me. I heard this Felicity Quinn, a newfound daughter of the up-and-coming Quinn family, had been raised in the countryside. She only returned to the New York social scene 2 years ago, right when I left for Switzerland. At first, Felicity imitated my style and dress. Because she looked like me, she was mocked as a cheap copycat. But later, the circle discovered that while she looked like me, her personality was gentle and submissive, the complete opposite of my arrogant, domineering reputation. Felicity was far more likable. Besides being gentle, Felicity knew how to liven up a party. Summer rafting trips, autumn fishing, winter skiing in Aspen. She quickly became the core of the social circle. My former minions gravitated toward her. My brother Vincent, who initially despised her, eventually started treating her like a real sister, getting the warm sibling affection he never got from me. Even my fiancé, the Sterling heir Gabriel, went from yelling at her not to copy me to looking at her with deep affection, as if she were his real fiancée. Chloe, my real-time scout, sent me every detail. I couldn't feign ignorance even if I wanted to. "Miss Quinn looks like me?" I looked at her sharply. Felicity trembled, habitually hiding behind Gabriel. I scoffed. "You all need to get your eyes checked. Where is the resemblance?" Today, I wore a white cocktail dress. Felicity also wore white. I wore a priceless pink diamond necklace. She wore pink pearls. Felicity was indeed pretty. But even wearing the same color and similar style, I didn't see the resemblance in our features. My words silenced the room. People glanced at each other, their expressions complicated. Felicity was the first to react. Her face paled as she said unwillingly, "Miss Vance is known as the most beautiful woman in New York. How could I deserve to be compared to you?" The crowd frowned, displeased by her humility. "Sister, looks are determined at birth. It's not Felicity's fault she looks like you. You demand to be unique in everything, but you can't take your anger out on an innocent person," Vincent said. I almost laughed out loud. If I were truly taking my anger out, would any of you still be standing here? Idiot. Did you not realize I was insulting you? I was speaking to Vincent, but my gaze slowly swept over everyone present. 2 years gone, and the Vance princess's temper is still this bad? We used to think they looked alike. Seeing them side by side, the sickly Miss Vance really can't compare to the rosy Felicity. Miss Vance just has okay looks. But her personality. My temper is notorious. Everyone knows it. My father once told me a woman should be like water, gentle and yielding. But a flood is also water. Rather than internalizing the stress, I prefer to burn others. Watching these people, whose fake peace I shattered with one sentence, trembling in fear. It was boring. You call this a welcome party? You all look at me like you're at a funeral, but you're all smiles for the irrelevant Miss Quinn. Chloe, thanks for organizing this. But in the future, don't invite me to any event where these people are present. I grabbed my clutch, ready to leave. As I passed Felicity, her best friend suddenly screamed. She stumbled, and the gift box in her hand tilted. A massive white crystal geode slid out and smashed onto Felicity's foot. Her instep instantly turned red. In an instant, Gabriel's roar filled my ears. Serafina Vance, what are you doing? Felicity spent ages finding this crystal geode for you. She thought it would purify your aura and help your health. If you didn't want it, fine, but why smash it? Gabriel and I grew up together. He was the flower on the high cliff, cold to everyone. Even on the day of our engagement, he was expressionless. This was the first time I'd seen him so angry. Right now, he was kneeling on the ground, checking Felicity's injury. Confirming nothing was broken, he stood up and glared at me. Everyone came to welcome you back. But you? You spewed cold sarcasm and smashed a gift, making a scene. 2 years, and you haven't changed a bit. Slap. A crisp sound echoed. Gabriel finally shut up. So much talking. I relaxed my wrist and pulled back my bag. The metal studs on it had scraped Gabriel's shoulder. The crowd watched the show, stunned. Gabriel looked at me in disbelief. You hit me? I hit you. Do I need to pick a lucky date for it? I sneered. You're still my fiancé. Defending another woman in front of me? Did you think I would tolerate this disrespect? I thought my temper had improved over the years abroad. Anger hurts the liver after all. If it were the old me, I would have started a brawl. They seem to have forgotten who I was. Start trouble. Get hit. Miss Vance, it's all my fault. I didn't know the gift was so fragile. If I held it flat, it wouldn't have fallen. I laughed coldly. Of course it's your fault. Sending me a crystal? Do you think I'm some evil spirit that needs purifying? Felicity cried. A true beauty, her tears were pitiful. While covering her face, I saw the corner of her mouth twitch upward, smiling for me to see. Only I could see it from this angle. Gabriel's face darkened further. He stopped rubbing his shoulder and turned to comfort Felicity, throwing harsh words at me. I didn't know you were so unreasonable. My brother also pointed at me. Sister, what did Felicity do wrong for you to treat her this way? When I see Dad tonight, I'm definitely telling him to punish you. I laughed, waved my hand, and turned to leave. Go ahead and tattle. And Sister Felicity, since when can any random cat or dog be your sister? Oh, right. I stopped and turned back. Gabriel, did you forget? Our engagement was something your father brought you to my house to beg for. Since you like Felicity so much, I won't stand in your way. I agree to break the engagement. You can explain it to the Sterling family yourself. Might as well finish them all off. I turned to Felicity. As for you, do I look stupid? I have a bad temper, but I walk fast. I didn't even touch your friend. She dropped it herself to frame me. Don't believe me? I pointed at the garden lamp. That surveillance camera should have a great angle. After my tirade, Vincent looked gloomy. Gabriel looked livid. Felicity's face alternated between red and white. The others looked uncomfortable. They were unhappy, so I was happy. I'm used to it. They gossip about me to my face or behind my back. I'm not a masochist. If someone talks smack, I hit back. No need for you to tattle. I'll do it myself. I will send the footage of everyone's behavior today to the heads of your respective families. This place has HD cameras everywhere. Your outfits, expressions, I waved my phone, and even what you said, are recorded clearly. Ignoring their panicked expressions, I turned to walk out. I bumped straight into a man entering the garden. Strong hands gripped my arms, steadying me. I looked up into a flawless, devastatingly handsome face. The man blushed and gently let go. But I wasn't in the mood for eye candy. I pushed him away. Don't touch me. Move. Instantly, The man's face turned redder, pink spreading to his ears. I frowned. Does this guy like being scolded? Cousin, Chloe said weakly. Let's go together. Oh, ignore him. He likes getting yelled at. Does that kink exist? He was so handsome. He must have a unique personality. He felt familiar. Seeing me look at him, the blushing man introduced himself. Miss Vance, hello. I am Julian Thorne. Thorne family? A second-tier family, a step below the Vances and Sterlings. Before I could react, Julian shoved a gift box into my hands and ran away. Sitting in the car, I was still confused. Julian Thorne? Have I met him? Chloe leaned back comfortably, tapping on her phone. An AI voice spoke. Julian Thorne, second in command of Thorne Corp., second son of the family head. Current net worth in the billions, potential inheritance hundreds of billions. Age 22, unmarried, height 6 feet 2 inches. Size unknown, but estimated comparable to a water bottle. My face flushed. What kind of dirty AI is this? You don't know him? Had to use AI. Should I know him? It's my first time seeing him too. I looked at Chloe with amusement. Keep acting. Chloe feigned ignorance. Cousin, why don't you see what he gave you? She quickly grabbed the box and unwrapped it. When the packaging fell away, Chloe gasped. She held up a velvet cushion displaying a glass-texture imperial jade bangle. Such a bracelet was rare even at auctions. I examined it and slid it on. It fit perfectly. Chloe tooted. Cousin, you say you don't know him, but he knows your wrist size and taste perfectly. I turned my wrist, watching the emerald light flow within the jade, and smiled. The party was unpleasant, but getting a perfect bracelet wasn't a bad haul. Maybe the jade had a calming effect. I slept well that night. I woke up early. After finishing my morning Pilates, it was barely 8 a.m. Once ready, I had my bodyguards go to the Cloud, the elite restaurant the circle frequented. They set up a massive screen at the entrance and looped the edited video from yesterday's party. Felicity's fake fall, Gabriel's scolding, Vincent's rage. Everyone else was helpfully subtitled with their names and dialogue. Passers-by, customers, and internet sleuths uploaded it online. It went viral instantly. The socialite WeChat groups were buzzing today. A bunch of people tagged me, demanding to know what I meant. I sent a smile emoji and left the group. According to my assistant, the heirs tagged in the video were severely punished by their families when they got home. After all, who gave them the guts to mock the Vance heiress to her face? In the afternoon, Father called me to the study. Vincent was standing straight by the coffee table, head down. Seeing me, he glared and whispered, "What are you doing here?" I smiled, ignored him, walked to the sofa, and sat next to Father, acting sweet. "Dad." Vincent continued his rant. "What are you proud of? You just rely on Grandpa and Dad spoiling you. Felicity grew up suffering in the countryside. You targeted her the moment you came back." Father patted my hand, then grabbed a book and threw it at Vincent. "You helped outsiders mock your sister, and you have the nerve to speak? Get out." Vincent left the study unwillingly. I watched the door close. "Dad, are you really going to let him inherit the company?" Father returned to his calm demeanor. "Your brother lacks experience, and you're just causing trouble." He handed me the documents he was reading. It was a record of the insults from the other families involved today. Just ugly words. These families all rely on the Vance family for scraps to live this good life, right? I handed a prepared folder to Father. Dogs that bite people should die. Dogs that bite their masters should be put down. With every page he turned, Father's face grew darker. When he finished, he slammed the file on the table. Ingrates. The file detailed how several companies had blocked, price gouged, and trapped Vance Group's overseas projects. I was indeed in poor health, but recovering abroad was half true, half false. No one guards against a sickly non-heir. While ostensibly recovering in Switzerland, I investigated the Vance family's overseas assets and hidden pitfalls. There were plenty, and the culprits were the domestic families we had helped. My biological mother died shortly after giving birth to me due to complications. Father later married Linda from the Lane family, and they had Vincent. Among the families conspiring against Vance Group was the Lane family. This made Father even angrier. The Vance Group was meant to be handed to Vincent, but this son was so eager, he wanted to carve out chunks of the company now. The Lane family has sucked a lot of blood using Vincent's name these past few years. Dad, can you bear to see the Vance Group become Lane property in the future? Father understood. But Vincent was his only son. He hesitated. The company was still meant for him. Colluding with the Lanes wasn't enough to disown him completely. I'll think about it. You can go. Expected. So, I brought up breaking the engagement with Gabriel. Father agreed. After all, Gabriel slapped the Vance family in the face. The Vance heiress didn't need to worry about finding a husband. Worst case, I would marry and would just enjoy life. A few days later, news of the broken engagement reached the Sterlings. Gabriel couldn't sit still. When Gabriel stormed over to find me, I was having afternoon tea in the garden with Chloe. Seeing Gabriel from afar, Chloe tried to bail. You guys chat, I have stuff to do. She retreated to the corridor, watching from a safe distance. Gabriel didn't notice. He marched up and sat across from me. Serafina, we need to talk. I was in a good mood, ignoring his rudeness. I pushed the teapot toward him. Talk about what? Gabriel's face was grim. Why did you break the engagement like that? My father scolded me because of it. Do you know what the rumors are saying? I leaned back comfortably. What could they say? That I'm arrogant and willful, unloved by my fiancé? Or that young Master Sterling is engaged to me, but hangs out with Felicity all day? Mentioning Felicity, Gabriel thought I was jealous. Felicity and I are innocent. I just treat her as a friend I can talk to. Why break the engagement over jealousy? His expression softened when talking about her. Do you know Felicity was an illegitimate daughter who finally returned to the city? Because of your tantrum, the Quinns are sending her back to the countryside. 2 years, and you're still this aggressive. I was confused. What did my breakup have to do with Felicity? I teased. Didn't you say you were innocent? Then why does my breakup affect her? Anyone with eyes can see like Felicity. Stop acting so righteous. Besides, I didn't force the Quinns to do anything. Her being sent away is none of my business. Gabriel stood up abruptly, looking down at me with sharp eyes. You released that video from the party, and yesterday you broke the engagement. With these two things, how will people look at Felicity? Serafina, if I knew you were like this, I shouldn't have saved you from that car accident. Gabriel turned to leave. Gabriel was my savior. 8 years ago, I was in a car accident on my way home from school. A truck hit us and the car caught fire. Flipped upside down, stuck inside. Blood blinding me. I heard a man's voice. I couldn't open my eyes, letting him drag me and the driver out. Boom. The explosion knocked me out. When I woke up, Gabriel was by my bed. He said he saved me. Gratitude, plus the Sterling family status and Gabriel's excellence, led to our engagement. We were supposed to start planning the wedding upon my return. Now we were breaking up. My voice was ice cold. Gabriel, did you really save me? I thought, having known him so long, marrying him would be the worst thing. But seeing him tangled with Felicity was disgusting. So I ended it. Now he was here questioning me, bringing up the life debt. Let's clear the air. Gabriel froze, turning around in disbelief to look at me. My eyes were blurred by blood, but my ears weren't deaf. The person who pulled me out didn't sound like you. And when he saved me, his arm was cut, a 6-inch gash. If you hadn't taken me to the hospital, and considering our family's friendship, I would have exposed you long ago. I stood up, voice light. If you came today just to defend Felicity, fine. But you brought that up. Did you think I was secretly in love with you for years, determined to marry you, because of that rescue? Gabriel didn't expect me to know the truth. Nor did he expect that I wasn't head over heels for him. Fear crept into his eyes. I continued. You say you and Felicity are innocent. Are these photos photoshopped? I opened my phone and played a slideshow. Last April, Gabriel and Felicity were hugging under cherry blossoms. Last July, chest to back on a kayak. Last mid-autumn festival, kissing passionately under the lanterns. Gabriel's face turned green, then white. He didn't know I had so much evidence. I smiled. So, you should be grateful I didn't release these. Don't bother me again. I've never lost an argument. Gabriel stormed in and slunk out. Once he was gone, Chloe walked back. Holding a half-eaten pastry, she glanced at the photos, curious but afraid to ask. But she couldn't help it. Cousin, where did you get these? Private investigator. I sat down and sipped my tea. Guess. I don't know. Cousin, you seem so deep. Is someone else helping you watch them? You look like you have a bad temper, but you're actually playing 4D chess. I looked at her with a smile. Chloe shut up and drank her tea. She was right. An anonymous source sent me these. I traced the IP. Mostly domestic. But I hadn't found their identity. Someone who can bypass my company's hackers is a pro. By the way, cousin, the families who badmouthed you? Their heads of household punished them. Some got sent to Africa, some disowned. A few got into car accidents. Just broken legs, though. Cousin, do you think there's some vigilante justice? Listening to her ramble, a person flashed in my mind, but the image was fleeting. I shook my head and brewed new tea. Justice from above? Who knows? The New York elite circle was buzzing. Usually it was gossip about affairs. Now it was about disownments and exile. Vincent was ordered by father to attend business school abroad. No honors degree, no coming back to the company. Felicity was sent back to the countryside. But she returned a few days later. On her way back, she stopped at a resort. There, she saved a VIP old lady from a sudden illness. The old lady was the matriarch of the Lane family. Old Mrs. Lane took a liking to Felicity and invited her to stay. She even invited her to her 70th birthday banquet. She was paving the way for Felicity. The Lane family, being our in-laws, was top tier. On the day of the banquet, at the Lane estate, Felicity was invited. Old Mrs. Lane hated noise, so only the top 5 families and some Vance relatives were invited. When I arrived, Felicity and Gabriel were chatting and laughing. Even Vincent, who should have been abroad, was there. Silence fell when I entered. Especially old Mrs. Lane. She glanced at me and huffed. You came? Distant. Like I was a stranger. True, no blood relation. Technically, I should call her Grandie. Whatever. I have my own grandma. I had my assistant hand over the gift and sat next to Chloe. Seeing me ignore her, the old lady muttered, "No manners." I chuckled. True. My mother died when I was a baby. Can't compare to your daughter's good breeding, waiting for my father all those years. The crowd looked ready for drama. Mrs. Lane wanted to retort, but seeing my father and her daughter arrive, she stopped and called for dinner. It was a family feast, but the food was Michelin level. Guests ate quietly. Felicity, sitting next to the old lady, kept talking, making her laugh. I hated banquets. Boring. Just as I planned to leave, Felicity walked over with a wine glass. Miss Vance. She stood there, smiling perfectly. There was a misunderstanding at the welcome party. I apologize sincerely. I toast you. Please forgive me. I glanced sideways. Gabriel and Vincent stopped eating, watching. Ah, the trap. Thought they were background characters today. Felicity's words sounded polite, but were full of traps, implying I was wrong and unforgiving. If I drank, I admitted I bullied her. If I didn't, I was aggressive and petty. Felicity held the pose, waiting. I smiled. Sorry, health issues. I don't drink. Felicity looked shocked, eyes drifting down. There was a half-empty glass of wine in front of me. But Miss Vance was just drinking. I picked up the glass and tossed the contents behind me. Empty. Yeah, I stopped just now. Anger flashed in her eyes, replaced quickly by a pitiful look. Tears came instantly. Miss Vance really does blame me. Old Mrs. Lane heard and walked over with her cane. Felicity, what's wrong? Who bullied you? Silence. Even the servants stopped to watch. Felicity put down the glass, wiping tears, acting strong. No one bullied me. I choked on the wine. She glanced at me quickly. Those eyes were tattling. Sure enough, Mrs. Lane exploded. Serafina Vance. Today is my 70th birthday. Felicity is my guest and savior. I adopted her as my goddaughter. Disrespecting her is disrespecting me. If you bully her here, what do you do in private? Adding fuel to the fire, Vincent chimed in. My sister dares to do anything. She embarrassed all the families, broke her engagement loudly, and convinced Dad to send me away so I can't inherit. The inheritance topic ignited the room. Vincent's mom, my stepmother Linda, widened her eyes, asking Father if it was true. Before Father spoke, old Mrs. Lane threw her wine at me. I dodged. It hit my father's shoe. Missed. The old lady slammed the table, pointing at me. What right do you have to badmouth Vincent? Your dad only has one son. If not him, who gets the inheritance? You're just like your mother. Should have died early. Linda and Father were childhood sweethearts. My mother, Isabel, was the sudden arrival. Linda wanted to marry Father. Mom ruined it. Father loved Mom at first sight. Linda waited until Mom died to confess again. Father, emoing, refused. Vincent was the result of Linda drugging Father. The child was innocent, so he was added to the family tree and raised as the heir. Linda was pitiful, unless she was the one who caused Mom's fatal hemorrhage. Because of me, Vincent's status wasn't secure. The Lanes wanted Father to marry Linda to secure Vincent's position. But Father never married her, just gave her gifts and assets. So the Lanes wanted me gone. I was used to it. Mrs. Lane, at your age, maybe worry less about the juniors and enjoy retirement. You side with whoever cries. Guess judgment is hereditary. No wonder the Lane family is stagnant. Finally said it. You, Auntie Linda, and my half-brother. You all want me dead so he can take the spot. Once I'm dead, Vincent is secure. Then marrying Felicity is just a word away. Exposed. Vincent turned red. I don't have those thoughts. Grandma. Mrs. Lane, enraged by my truth-telling, gasped for air, clutching her chest. She looked between Felicity and Vincent. Felicity was cute, but with the Quinn family status, she wasn't good enough for her grandson. Mrs. Lane realized she had been played by Felicity. Used as a gun. Her face turned ugly. People saw it getting out of hand and came to mediate, telling me to hush. Servants gave the old lady meds. Mrs. Lane, don't be angry. Let the kid solve it. Yeah, it's your birthday. Relax. Linda, seeing her mother enraged and thinking of her own failure to ascend, was furious. She shook Father's arm, begging him to punish me. Father roared. Enough. He looked around at everyone trying to target his precious daughter. His gaze softened on me. Serafina, you're not well. Go home and rest. Don't go out for a while. On the surface, it grounds me. In reality, it protects me from these people. Linda knew. Husband, how can you be so biased? Father glared. Are you not biased? Mom died young. The house needed a mistress. Linda moved in when I was small to take care of me. She was good to me until Vincent was born. Understandable. He's her son. I bowed slightly, intending to leave. Passing Felicity, I stopped. Felicity didn't expect her big scene to end so quietly. She bit her lip in frustration. I leaned in. Miss Quinn, if you want to stir the pot, learn from Auntie Linda. Linda fought off so many women to stay by Father's side. She had skills. After I left, Chloe ran out. Cousin, you were so cool today. Aren't I always? She giggled. Don't sleep early tonight. I'll take you to a show. I was dozing on the sofa when Chloe finally arrived, climbing in through the second-floor balcony, wearing a black catsuit, curves everywhere. I wanted to touch. Behind her was another person in black. Julian Thorne. What's up? Chloe introduced him proudly. My new henchman. He's your driver and carrier tonight. Where are we going? Chloe didn't say. Just told me to change into black. We climbed out. 2 motorcycles waited. We sped off. I didn't know Chloe could ride like this. No cars could keep up. I hugged Julian's waist, touching his abs. He went stiff, the bike swerving. Nervous? Never had a passenger? He stabilized the bike. His body was hot. He whispered, "No, only you." Destination, a small villa in the suburbs. Security was lax. We stood by the living room wall. Chloe gave me an earpiece. I heard the conversation inside clearly. Familiar voices. "Felicity, you said Serafina would be ruined, and her father would abandon her for Vincent. But today, she seems way more important. Should I keep trusting you?" Rustling of clothes. "Gabriel, don't rush. I saw in the password book that Serafina will die. The Sterlings will replace the Vances as the #1 family. The book said I'm a lucky star. See? I got kicked out but saved Mrs. Lane and came back to New York. Felicity and Gabriel. Innocent my ass. They didn't know 3 people were listening outside, discussing how to dismantle my family." Felicity's voice was high. "The Vance family is a monopoly. They give no chances to newcomers. Use this chance to hurt them and take the market share." Gabriel sighed. "Too bad. Don't know how long we have to wait." Felicity sounded happy. "Soon. The book says that a month after Serafina dies in a car crash, Richard Vance will make a major error. Be patient, Gabriel." They spoke English, but I didn't understand the meaning. Finally, on the way back, it clicked. I see. I never met Felicity, but she targeted me. She wants to destroy the Vances and become rich. I thought it was just for Gabriel. Didn't know she was so ambitious. I found it funny. Chloe, however, lost her excitement. She was muttering in the corner. I squatted next to her and poked her. "What's wrong?" "Spill." "Are you hiding something? How did you know they'd be discussing big plans tonight?" Chloe hesitated, then spilled the beans. "Actually, the password book Felicity talks about. I wrote it. Not just the book. This world is a novel I wrote. I'm the author. I fell asleep writing and woke up here." It took a while to accept that I was a character in Chloe's book. She transmigrated. As the author, she wanted to be the heroine. The heroine was supposed to be kidnapped at 6, live a hard life, and return as a stand-in when I went abroad. Chloe said Felicity's plot being loved by Gabriel, defended by Vincent, saving Mrs. Lane was supposed to be hers. And I, the white moonlight side character, was destined to die in a car crash. The password book is my outline. I brought it with me so I wouldn't forget key plot points. I understood. So Felicity found your outline, met the key characters at the right times, and stole your plot. I was confused. Since it's your plot, why didn't you take it? Marry Gabriel, crush the Vances, start a new dynasty. Chloe looked at me teary-eyed. In the real world, I like women, not men. So I can't follow the plot. I was stunned, remembering how she clung to me. You aren't. Relax, Chloe said firmly. We're cousins. I don't mess with family. Crap. Chloe looked serious. Next month is the car crash. The turning point for the Vances. What do we do, cousin? I don't want you to die. What? Chloe hugged me, burying her face in my neck, sobbing snot and tears. I surrendered. Good thing the catsuit was thick. I thought for a moment, called Julian over. I hugged Chloe, looking like a king with a concubine. There's something that might turn New York upside down. If it fails, your family suffers. If it works, your family equals the Vances. Dare you? Julian looked at me with deep, hungry eyes. Yes. But if it succeeds, I want Miss Vance to grant me one request. Deal. Chloe tilted her head. Cousin, what are you saying? I patted her head. I said, since they want me dead, I'll die for them to see. I died. Just like the outline said. Car crash. No intact body. Only DNA from the remains confirmed it was Serafina Vance. Father sat in silence for days. When Linda found him, he looked 10 years older, broken. Vincent stopped pretending. He forced father to transfer all shares to him. Linda stopped pretending. She wanted the estate and the jewelry collection. Father refused. Vincent smashed a vase over his head and locked him in a hospital. I watched it all on monitors from a prepared villa. After Vincent sent father to the hospital, we pulled a switch, replaced him with a look-alike old man. Soon, a power of attorney came from the hospital, naming Vincent as acting CEO. Before Vincent could celebrate, news came that the Sterling Group snatched a major project, causing huge losses for Vance Group. Vincent stormed to the Sterlings. Gabriel, we agreed to do this together. Why is only Sterling Group on the contract? You played me. Gabriel sat calmly in his chair. Why share what I can eat alone? Without your dad and sister, who respects you in business. You worthy. Before Vincent could explode, a clear voice came from behind. Gabriel, where should we hold the wedding? Vincent turned in disbelief. Felicity walked in wearing red, ignoring him completely. Vincent pointed at her. You said you'd marry me. That's why I told you my sister's route. Felicity scoffed and hugged Gabriel. You believed me? Idiot. I never liked you. If not to crush the Vances, I wouldn't even look at you. She kissed Gabriel. Good. Very good. Vincent turned to leave, but was blocked by bodyguards. Gabriel's voice was cold. Since you're here, little Vance, stay a while. Give us a big gift for the wedding. Vincent was locked up. Gabriel forced him to sign share transfers and make Sterling a supplier for Vance. Vincent fought for 2 days but caved under physical pressure. When Gabriel thought he had won, marching into Vance Group with Felicity, he was told the contract was void. Gabriel slammed the desk. Says who? The new CEO. Vincent signed it. Because he isn't the new CEO. His signature is invalid. Bodyguards opened the door. I walked in slowly. Lawyer Chun behind me. Julian wheeling my father in. Gabriel's eyes bulged. You're? I sat in the CEO chair, tapping the desk. Sorry to disappoint you. All of this was a setup. And you are the cannon fodder. I laughed. Your plot with Felicity failed. Attempted murder, embezzlement, bid rigging. Enough for prison. Gabriel gritted his teeth, unwilling to accept defeat. He shouted, My company got a huge order 3 months ago. Enough to elevate us. I smiled silently and waved him away. His assistant ran in, crying. Mr. Sterling. Bad news. The raw materials for that order were faulty. Clients are suing. Gabriel spun around to look at me. I nodded, smiling. Julian draped a coat over me. 3 months later, Sterling Group was buried in lawsuits and debt, never to recover. I stood by the window, listening to Julian report the good news. I turned to him. What was the condition you wanted? Julian dropped his casual air. He looked serious. Marry me. The end.